What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. This is our top 10 hottest selling comics of the week, our weekly video series brought to you by PopCultureZone.com. Before we get into this week's top 10 books, don't forget to check out PopCultureZone.com's. Their links are below. Check them out if you're interested in getting your hands on some awesome exclusive and incentive variants at affordable costs, CGC slabs, and of course all different kinds of pop culture items, including toys and statues. And if you're buying raw books, they ship at a flat rate fee of only $4.99. Pop Culture Zone is also on eBay, where they still hold a 100% customer feedback rating with over 8,000 ratings this year alone. So again, those links are below to their website and their eBay store. Check them out and make sure you follow them on eBay as well.
We get through the top 10 hottest comics, and then Chris goes through his 3 most interesting picks off of that list. So, Chris, we're just going to get right into it and talk about this list right now. At number 10, Black Panther. Number 3, the Torrin Clark, 1 in 25. First appearance of Tosin Aduye. Chris, this has been going for insane amounts of money. I think a 9.8, which, you know, there's no way that it got graded yet, is going for over $1,000. This book came out 2 weeks ago.
Magically graded comic.
Over $1,000, people. Wow. We never comment that much on the top 10 list. At number 9, we have Amazing Spider-Man 210. At number 8, Amazing Spider-Man 637. Julia Carpenter becomes Madam Web, and also the death of the original Madam Web. At number 7, we have Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. Number 2, the Jorge Fornes 1 in 25 variant. Digging that variant indeed. That's just a great callback. Number 6, we have Black Panther. Number 3, the Gary Frank variant. Number 5, we have Star Wars Darth Maul. Number 3, the first cover appearance of Cad Bane. Number 4, Star Wars Darth Maul. Number 2, the first appearance of Cad Bane in Marvel canon, or actually Star Wars canon, since Marvel.
Right.
We have New Teen Titans. Number 21, the first appearance of Brother Blood and Mother Mayhem. Number 2, we have Amazing Spider-Man. Number 88, the first appearance of the Queen Goblin. At number 1, Black Panther. Number 3, Chris. This is a pretty interesting list this week, huh?
Pretty interesting, you know. Black Panther number 3, still hanging in there. I mean, cover A. I do believe. Don't quote me exactly, but I do believe it hit $100. Raw, absolutely nuts.
It surprised a lot of people. I guess after FOC, there was the I don't know, announcement or revelation that there's going to be this new character, and everybody went fucking crazy. It's just amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. And then we got the Cad Bane books, which I think is great. I was gonna so I did not pick those for my top 3, but I want to tell you right now that I would have picked Darth Maul number 2 as one of my top 3s, but I decided not to, just because if we talk about that book, we're gonna get into some spoilers for the Boba Fett show, and I didn't want that to happen. But I thought there was a lot of interesting talking points. Maybe we'll discuss those at some other time about what that book could be doing on the market in the near future. But very interesting picks today. I think you and I, Jeff, both of us are really gonna have a bit of some love for these books, because there's a theme, and that theme is Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. That was one of the questions for your show tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
We won a bunch of books. Naming off our favorite hero. So
that's right. The one and only Spider-Man. So my number 3 pick, I got to go with Amazing Spider-Man number 210. The first appearance of Madam Web. So for those that know, you know, I'm sure most of you do now. We talked about it on the show last week. I did a video on it, my channel last week. Dakota Johnson has been cast to play Madam Web. She will be having her standalone film under Sony, and I'm really excited about it. This is the first appearance of Madam Web, and let's look at these numbers first and foremost. 172% upward trend in sales this week, with the recent CGC 9.8 high sale of $1,500. That's solid. Recent high sale, raw, 303. So this is how I want to break this down. You can see the image here too. We got some data based on raw sales. So right now, your average raw in recent sale is going for roughly over $200, $204. So basically, what that number is you take in all the sales of the raw books, whether they're low grade, mid grade, high grade, it doesn't matter. And how do you figure averages? You add up all the prices and you divide them by how many books sold. That's how you get your average. That's what that 204 is. It doesn't pertain to a specific grade, but you can see here some of the higher dollar amount sales that have happened recently. And of course, there's that 303 high, but there's also the 255 that happened on the 8th. But I want to focus this $300 sale. This $300 sale happened in December of last year. Now, we've known that there's been a lot of talk and speculation about Madam Web for a while now, Jeff. I think, what do you think? Has it been like a year since we heard initial rumors?
Yeah, it's been a year. Yeah.
So I know that if you guys go follow the trends, even the 9.8 selling at 1,500, this book was already hitting over $1,000 in a CGC 9.8. It did peak, even closer to the 1,500, I think a few months back as well. So the point that I'm breaking all this down and what I want everyone to analyze here is that overall, even though that announcement, it's increased in sales, in units, but it's not going extremely crazy as of yet. So what that tells me is a couple of things. One, I think a lot of people were hip to this before this announcement. And if you ask me, that's a good thing because it allows people to say, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to think about why I'm wanting this. I'm going to get ahead of the curve, right? Before we actually, and I always say this, Jeff, we talk about it as well. Don't wait for don't wait for the casting. Don't wait for the trailer. So I think this book has actually seen a lot of more healthy upward trend over the last year or so, next to being like a West Coast Avengers 45 thing, where, we wait till the last minute and we get a cameo or we get an announcement and boom, everyone just goes crazy. But I do want you all to keep in mind too, a few years ago, this book wasn't selling for much. You could still find this in the back issue bins, depending on the grade, maybe $5, $10, maybe $15, something like that. So it has definitely increased in sales. Again, we got an announcement. Be careful of this. But I do think that this book is a very solid long-term investment. People always say when it comes to Sony handling these Spider-Man characters, why? How can this person have a solo film? Or how are they doing this without Spider-Man? Well, when they announced an Aunt May solo film, that blew my mind. Maybe with Marissa Tomei, I might enjoy that. But I don't know what they were doing there. And then they did the jackpot. No. But Madam Web, again, I don't think, unless you are a diehard Spider-Man fan, I don't know if you understand how deep the mythos is of the web that is the spider totems, and it really coincides with the multiverse as well. Madam Web is a solid character in the comic books, and I think if Sony does it right, they can have that happen on the big screen. So overall, I think this is a solid book. I like what it's doing. Of course, because of where it's at, I just tell you all to take heed, be careful, be patient. Don't be so reactionary and emotional when buying this book. Study the market. And hey, at the end of the day, if you think it's worthy of your money,
that's what it comes down.
Go ahead and do what makes you feel good, right?
That's what it comes down to. But this, Madam Web does open a ton of possibilities that could connect the MCU and Sony. Mm-hmm. Can you say what it is? The Sony universe Spider-Man characters or whatever. It's the
yeah, good enough.
Whatever.
The Sony cinematic universe of Marvel characters.
Yeah, but no, Madam Web does open up that door, and I'm all for it. Chris and I, we say this all the time. We want to see these comic book properties succeed, no matter what publication they're from. And, there are some that have a track record of not, and some questionable announcements in the past year from Sony. What was it, Jackpot too?
Yep.
Or there's another one too, Solo. Like, nobody wants to see that shit. But Madam Web could be something cool, especially with a, high caliber actress like Dakota Johnson. So yeah, again, and it goes to what Chris is saying. Like, if you feel like this book is worth it, go for it. Absolutely. Chris likes this book. I like it as well. I do want to point out we are making waves, Chris. Planet Arizona Comics, the top 10 first. My OCD is all up in arms over this. We apologize. Snapchat has a remedy for that. It's an adjustment. The bourbon helps. So, anyways, we'll see. And by the way, Cable Leland. We're not talking about Han Solo the film. I like that film too. We're talking about Solo the character. I don't know. I just want to make sure you're clear with that. Anyways, moving on, Chris.
I do want to add to. This is one of those books that I think, even if you catch it on a high and it dips off a little bit, I have more faith in a book like this trending upward again. But again, with that being said, still, guys, just be careful, be sound in your purchasing decision. So, but yeah. Book number 2.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So this one adds some context to ASM 210, my number 2 pick. Amazing Spider-Man 637. Telling you guys, it's a Spidey hot list here. Okay, so I talked about this book when I did the video with the casting announcement, and I like the book. I don't own this book. It's crazy that I never picked up this book. Because I've been trying to get, I have a complete volume 1 run from 100 up to where they ended volume 1 and then did volume 2. But remember, they went back to the legacy number in the mid 2000s and carried on that numbering. So that's why this is 637. This is basically the first appearance of Julia Carpenter, aka Spider-Woman, as Madam Web, because she takes the mantle when the original Madam Web dies. Madam Web passes over basically the power of the web to Julia. So let's look at these numbers. 392% upward trend in sales. This one has been booming this last week. A recent CGC 9.8 high sale of $220. Now if you look at the way 9.8s have been in the 9.8 market recently, and if you look at situations like this where you get a casting, I am pretty humbled by this $220 high sale. It's kind of humbling because things have been so crazy that, you could see this book peak up to like, $600. I mean, I've seen books that I've almost laughed at from just a rumor. Dollar bin books shoot up to $500. I saw somebody buy the first appearance of Simple Simon. Hey, Jeff, do you know who Simple Simon is?
I have no idea.
Nope. I'm making a video on it next week, by the way. I saw, and it was a CBCS. It wasn't even CGC. It was a CBCS dollar bin book, basically sold for over $300. And this one's not even hitting 300. So it's a bit, no, I'm not telling you guys that it should be. I'm just trying to make a point, right? High recent raw, though, went for $99. So that was a bit of an outlier, folks. If you look at down here, the most recent raw average fair market value sitting around that $62 mark. And you can see outside of the $99 one, you got a $60 purchase. You got that $49 purchase. This book has been decently selling raw, high grade for about, around that $50 mark. Even before the announcement, this was a solid $30, $35 book. So again, I know that's almost like a double, if you look at the averages, it's almost like a double in value. But when you look at what the 9.8s are doing, again, I'm very humbled at the fact that people aren't going FOMO crazy. So that's a good sign. But I think this book could be a healthy book, and it goes back to the Dakota Fanning casting, or excuse me, Dakota Fanning, the Dakota Johnson casting, because it is seemingly to be that this young 32-year-old auburn tint-haired actress could actually be playing Julia Carpenter. Jeff, would you?
I mean, yeah,
agree?
I would think that's the way they would go. You know, I think it was on the show last week when we were covering that news.
Yep.
Dakota Johnson. Somebody said Jamie Lee Curtis would make an excellent like original Madam Web, right? Passing the power along to her. But yeah, I agree. I think she's going to be the second iteration of Madam Web. Again, to hold a younger audience's attention. You know, I think the history, even having like the original Madam Web as a mentor, that would be cool. So I don't know. We'll see. There's so many ways they can go with this, and there's so many opportunities to open up the MCU. Like the MCU we're talking about, not the sub pump.
Because and again, Madam Web and her powers, and it's very connected to the multiversal world out there. And just to point out what this means for Amazing Spider-Man 210, I don't think, at least from how we could sit here and hypothesize what Sony could be doing, I don't think this takes away from Amazing Spider-Man 210, because if they do this right, I am with, I think you share the same sentiment with what you just said. I'm with making the Julia Carpenter character the main character, the main protagonist, the main Madam Web. But I don't think it could be done without still having the original Madam Web in some form. Even if it's just flashbacks or telling the story of the the web and how she got brought into it and how Julia Carpenter got her abilities and powers. And so very interesting to see. So I'm not too concerned about any of these books. I think all of these books are still solid right now. But if Sony comes out and does a movie and it's completely taken out of context from the comic books, and we see no focus on how if it is Julia, and we see no focus on how she got the power, then it could turn people off, and that could cause some problems. We know that Kevin Feige does actually sit in a lot, and what's the proper word I'm looking for? He consults. He is a consultant on anything Marvel. So right now, that's no longer Fox. That's maybe Universal if they were still doing Hulk projects, but they haven't in however many years. So anything that Sony does with the Spider-Man characters, Kevin Feige is there as a consultant, putting his input in. So it would really surprise me if Sony came out and did something absolutely crazy that was so far off of the comic books.
Like a jackpot movie.
Right, exactly.
But like going back to what you're saying, having the second iteration kind of be the focal point, Marvel did that with Ant-Man,
Perfect example.
Scott Lang worked out great.
Yep. And I love Michael Douglas's Hank Pym.
Yeah, man.
He's not dynamic. Yep.
Yeah. So anyways, again, but Mark Leneker sounds like he's a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis being the original Madam Web, because she could sit there with her Boniva yogurt. I think that's that bacterial probiotics yogurt that she endorsed. I don't know. And I have this is fascinating, by the way. In the 90s cartoon, Madam Web's voice was Stan Lee's wife, Spider Dude 71.
That's awesome.
That's a nice little tidbit of information right there. Chris, give us your final tidbit of information on this last most interesting book from this list this week.
All right, guys. So I had lots of positives with these, my first two picks. I was happy to see a lot of people out there picking them up, but not going crazy with it. I think they're going to be decent and solid in the future. But this next book, and you and I are both huge Spider-Man fans.
Yeah.
I had this book on my pull list. I get them every month. They come out twice a month now. I get them for previews orders, 35% off cover price. And this book has just been going crazy. And that's Amazing Spider-Man number 88 that just came out. The first appearance of the Queen Goblin. Now, keep in mind, folks, I'm only on issue 81. 81 of my Spider-Man reading. I am behind. Blame COVID. This book is the newest FOMO book. But look, while I'm not too crazy about it myself, I'm going to tell you why I'm also not like worried. Let's look at these numbers and what it's done. 175% upward trend in sales, and that's pretty normal for a new book. I don't think that speaks to really anything. Current CGC 9.8. Oh, shoot. You know what? This book doesn't have any CGC sales.
Yeah, I was about to say, it just came out 2 days ago.
Disregard that, folks. Disregard that. That is inaccurate. So all we're looking at for this book is those raw numbers. So that recent high raw of 2151. Recent fair market value on the market, secondary market, of course, $16 roughly. And you can see some of the most current sales, the 21, the 17.99, the 16. I'm not going to go on a rant because people paying $15, $16, $17 for this isn't too horrible. Like if I collect Spider-Man and I miss out on a book, like, let me give you an example. It was I forget what issue it was. Was it 60? It was like issue 61 where he got that new suit.
Oh, right. Oh my God. That feels like years ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it's like about it's
probably
a year ago. Yep.
Maybe.
And
maybe not even a year, man.
Yeah, I don't even think it's been a full year yet.
Terrible,
but
too. The gray and orange and blue.
Yeah, for some reason, because I would do the Marvel subscriptions.
It was 61.
And I stopped those now. I stopped those. I get them all from my comic shop previews orders. But I would do the Marvel mail subscriptions. And for some reason, it didn't renew. After that, I was like, I'm good anyways. Peace.
Yeah.
But so I didn't have this copy and I had to go find it and I couldn't. So I ended up paying, and I think it still sells. I think this book still sells a little above cover price. But, it was going for like, I think close to $20 for a minute. And I think it's back down to maybe around $7 or $8. But I bought it off eBay. And I think after shipping, I paid about $10 or $11 for it. A few dollars shipping. I think I paid like $7 or $8 and then the shipping. So, and I wasn't buying it because of the new suit. I was buying it because I collect Spider-Man and I want my full run. I want every issue. So that was a situation where, I always talk about make sure you have your pull list, make sure,
Yep.
But I bought it simply because I wanted it for my run and I was willing to pay a little bit more. So when you look at a book like this, it does have a first appearance. I don't think this first appearance is going to go anywhere. I mean, look what happened with the Red Goblin, $7.98 and all. That was absolutely crazy. And I see those books, back in the back issue bins for cover price.
Yep.
Nowadays, and it didn't go anywhere, and people were paying crazy money for those in the 9.8 slabs. But if I for some reason miss the boat or miss the bus on this one, and I really loved Spider-Man, and maybe I was interested in the character, look, paying 10, maybe 15, 16, 17, I'm not going to be mad at. But once it crosses that $20 mark, that's where I feel like, come on, folks, like just chill. You're getting into your emotions. We talked about what I talked about the FOMO and how, and again, just for those that haven't heard me talk about FOMO, I'm not mad at FOMO. There's good FOMO. FOMO can be fun. But I do feel, especially right now, we're at a heightened level where it's out of control for a lot of people. And it speaks to how we are reacting culturally and socially, and it's becoming very unhealthy. So to see this book slowly crossing that $20 mark, that's where I'm getting concerned. But if it stays around that 15, 17, hey, it is what it is. But I think at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a little behind on the story. I don't even know if this character coming in, I don't even know if the story's good at this point. If it is, great. Hope the character stays around. If it is, telling. But otherwise, I don't see this book going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's been specific track records on things like this, However, I don't remember the height, like the intense FOMO around, for example, issue 61, where that awful suit came out, right? I think there was a little bit of buzz. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like intense FOMO. Like this is like Black Panther 3.
Well, it's not quite like, and that's why I said I wasn't going to go on a rant, because keep in mind, Black Panther 3 in its first week was hitting over $50.
True. Okay. I'm sorry. You're right. That's a fact.
But I think, can I just, to your point though, it's riding that fine line.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was Bronze Age Nerd last week? He's kind of feeling this too, this kind of intense FOMO at the beginning of this year with these books just popping up out of nowhere. And this is one of them. Again, Darth Vader number 20 was one of them this week.
Yep.
Like, so it's a thing, and we're kind of easing off in the pandemic situation, because earlier in the pandemic it was just crazy, right? Like books just flying, just popping.
Well, but there's context to that, because right now you see a lot of books kind of cooling off a little bit, but you still see a lot of books trending upward, whether it's new books or key books or whatever. But then to your point, it's just, I think it's been different throughout the pandemic. I think it's taken a kind of a different form, because right now, even when the pandemic hit and all this, a lot of people were sitting and they got extra money in their pocket because they're not, taking trips and eating out and doing all these other things, and they're just sitting at home.
No, that's true. It's
right. So, you got to take that into consideration. So while I agree with what you just said, things were popping off like crazy. It's very interesting to understand that a lot of the world is back to a new normal. I'll say a new normal because,
yes,
so many of us we're going on vacation. Things are open. Maybe we just have to wear a mask, right? We're still working. Everyone's back to work. Maybe people are working at home now still because of the shit. So things have changed, but we're not just quarantined or isolated anymore with all this extra money in our pockets, because we're not putting gas in our cars commuting. We're not taking trips. We're not going to the movies. We're not going to Disneyland. It's all open again. We're spending money normally, like we, were pre-COVID. But now to see how that correlates to all these books that we get the FOMO for. And again, it doesn't need to be a new book, because look at what happened to the Black Chrysanthemum books. I mean, those are modern books, but they weren't like new releases. It was still speculation. And they went crazy, including the first appearance of his Scar. Right? It just all of it went crazy. So I think when you take all those things into context, that's why I look at it right now and say, I am a little bit concerned.
Okay, more specifically, what is your concern?
Well, it goes back to what I broke down last week when we had Bronze Age Nerd here. It goes down to the emotional, this state that we're in. And I was talking about the hypervigilance and the fact that we are, the addictive nature of how we are reacting to comic books whenever there's a rumor or speculation or anything, and it's so heightened that I just think it's coming to this unhealthy point for us where we're almost out of our minds when we're doing it. So and again, I mean, this is something that I'm going to monitor very closely all year long and just watch the market and watch people's behavior. But I said this, it's almost culturally ingrained in us to behave and act in this certain way. And we get into this fight or flight, this I need, and when you have platforms like eBay and whatnot, and these where you can bid and you allow those endorphins to kick as it counts down 5, 4, 3. And remember, I told you about like eBay when you have that automatic button and it's 12, 13, 14, and you can just keep hitting it. And you set a price for you, but right in those final few seconds, that price goes out the window. The endorphins kick, and it's like, I need this high. That troubles me. I think that's happening a lot more right now. I really do.
Nah, I think so, because there's more tools at our disposal to make that happen. As you said, whatnot, eBay.
Yep.
As you said, information at our fingertips, people lining up, just waiting to get into that comic shop and grabbing all the copies that they can of that specific issue. So that right there, though, wraps up our top 10 hottest comics of the week.